everybody. It's Brendan. Welcome back to the GamePlayers podcast. This is episode 3 already. Pretty crazy to think that we're already what? It's been I mean that we're already about almost a month into this.
Last time I said 4 weeks. This is 4 weeks.
Okay, so
Right?
this I don't know.
4 weeks of recording, probably. Yeah, fourth week of. It's 2 weeks and then 2 weeks.
2 weeks and 2 weeks and 2
Yeah.
weeks and then another 2 weeks and then time flies by.
Time flies by. But it's been 4 weeks since the first one was published, if everything's on track.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm Brendan. We got Zach. Say hi.
Oh, you want me to say hi? I thought you were
For our audio listeners. We got Owen.
Hi.
We're going to kick things off like we have in the previous 2 episodes of starting off with different stuff going on with the store. So I think it's best to let Zach take over on that.
I'll lead the charge on that because there's a lot that's been going on, of course. We're going to give the biggest news right before we get into some reviews and stuff. But essentially, store happenings, if weather permits, the store's really busy all the time. I can say, based off of my scheduling, sometimes I forget that there's school days off and stuff like that. So sometimes these guys get screwed over with a lot of kids in the store on a single or solo day. But that's not store happenings. There's a lot going on. We just finished the card setup literally after filming the second episode.
Yeah, it's like the next day.
It's not completely set up, but it's way better.
So much more space for starters.
Everything but the card machine.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
Damn card machine.
That card machine, we need to get there because there's so many cards, and that's one of the store happenings. That's a lot of our business lately. I can get into the quick card one since I know that's the topic we're going to talk about today. Is we got that Lugia card in. Patrick took that trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the $450 card.
Yes.
When it's not in the best condition, even.
Yes, it's a very expensive one.
Yeah.
And, I'll be the first to tell you, cards started with one single post of, oh my gosh, almost 3 years now. Mm-hmm. We literally just posted on Facebook and Instagram that we'll buy your cards. And that's it. One post, besides posting what cards we get in. One post, and now we got a whole card section.
Which, it started out with just it was the PlayStation 1 cabinet. We just had it was one glass sheet. Yeah. Had all the cards pretty much. I mean, we had a couple in binders and stuff.
Yep.
But it was a glass sheet was all we had for the highlights. And I think it was even 10 and up or something like that.
Oh, it was everything essentially.
Everything that wasn't bulk.
Yes, and mainly just Pokemon at the time because we didn't really have Magic.
We didn't touch Magic till later, if not even maybe when we were up here.
I think it was more up here.
Yeah. With cards comes a lot more work, and by work I mean a lot more work.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I keep repeating it. Thank you for everyone that trades cards in. Thanks for patience with the cards. With games we're able to just scan right in. Or type in if it's a greatest hit, because at the store, we'll get into more details later about how we scan games in and differentiate, a greatest hit from a platinum hits versus a not for resale. But with cards, you can't scan them in properly.
You can do it with the phone app, but it's really because there's so many cards that look so similar.
Yep.
The apps just can't tell them apart.
Especially hollows.
Oh.
Yeah, but you can at least set that up there, but then you're switching settings. It's almost just... I would say it's just faster just to look them up.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
for a trade-in at least. For doing bulk when you already have it pre-organized, it's different. But even then, it's hard to trust everything that it says.
Yeah, no, 100%. And with the cards, it's I'll be the first to tell you as the owner, it I don't want to say it hurts, but when you have to dedicate someone to that station and ignore the core business, essentially, I don't want to say it's a dagger in the chest, but It hurts, but it helps because we know for a fact that cards helps us in supplements when, video games are slow. Everything helps supplement everything together. But, with that Lugia trade, that was huge. Millennium is the type of store that gets those trades in.
Yeah.
Not a GamePlayers Brockport that specializes in video games.
Yeah.
And that was an expensive one. And I'm glad if you're watching, thank you for trading that in. The person that got all those cards was happy. People that got the cards after, the lower level ones, beyond happy.
No, yeah, it was nice getting a big trade, and then followed by 2 other trades, the next 2 days or that week that I had, and then I had like 4 the same day the one day, and it's been a lot of cards. And yeah, the biggest thing is it takes time to do cards versus games, and so it's been days of just doing cards, and then we were left with all the bulk that's just even extra, not being processed as quickly.
Yep. We'll get back to it. We'll fix that machine, and it is what it is. Once that machine's up and running, I think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it could do about
800 cards an hour.
Was it 800?
It was just about. It was.
800
I mean, when it got
That seems
stuck
high.
on one.
No, I think it was 400, but because it can do about 1,000 in a day. If you manage to get.
Yeah, I think you're thinking a full day.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
well, maybe 600. Maybe 600, like a fill out, like a time that you fill it and then it's done. Not an hour. It was easier than it's like loading laundry. It's like you do it and then you set it and forget it. For the most part, you just walk away from that thing and it would just do its job
Until suddenly it stops making sound and you're like, oh boy.
Or you hear a snap,
Yeah.
and then you hear just the 3 printed parts that just break. Which those are easy to fix. It's just the wiring. That's what it's broken with right now.
Yeah, because it's new technology, and I didn't want to spend. I'll be the first to say I didn't want to spend $20,000 on a machine. That seems absurd to me. We're not a card store right now, and even with those machines, I hear that they have issues.
Yeah, I think the alternative to the grid one that we have is one of the ones that feeds horizontally. Right?
Yeah, it's like I can't think of like a manufacturing plant essentially. It would just go down the line and drop where it needs to go.
Yeah, and those things, I guess there's less points of failure, but I think they're a lot more expensive.
Yeah, there's some card stores that I watch that have multiple of those machines because they need them. They're also taking those and shipping them out to TCG Player or wherever to sell them for the other place.
Yes, which we're not doing that. I don't think we ever plan to do that.
Well, you never know. Things do change.
Yeah, things change, but currently that's not something that we plan to do with our cards. The bulk, even the penny cards, people buy boxes of, and then we don't exactly like sit on all that bulk.
Actually, like recently, I think I had a couple of times in the past few weeks, people actually buying like the big boxes and just being like, I'll take I'll take whatever you got. Just gimme.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the majority of that price is the box because the supplies are hard to get, but
no, it's a portion though. Honestly, the cards, it's a 32 count box, though it's stuffed to the brim. 3,200, not 32 cards. 3,200, and then it's stuffed to the brim, and then the box is honestly like they're hard to get. A lot of those boxes.
Yes, and they're expensive.
If you ever want to buy just the cards in the box,
right,
you can do that for a little bit cheaper.
It's all yours. What other store happenings do we have?
All mine to count out.
You want to count 3,200 cards?
We get paid to do it. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
We could quickly mention the BOGO on the loose since I'm looking at it right now.
We're even farther with that. We talked a little bit about it last time.
We just started it essentially last time.
We're almost. Well, I say almost done, but it's close.
You got 360 left on the floor. Let's just talk about the floor, not behind the counter.
Not the extra ones. Yes, it's just 360 and
PSP,
PSP, and PS1.
PS1, and then whatever left of Sega's.
Because right now there's PS3, PS2 is done, I would say, and then Xbox, Wii, GameCube, Wii U. Which last time it was Wii U and Xbox. Maybe Wii was done last time, but yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. It takes time. I mean, I know I said that a lot, but it takes time.
Those resurfacers definitely are going to be getting a raise of some sorts after this. They have been worked to death and back, and they are still kicking.
How many buckets full of resurfacing water do you think I've gone through?
Well, because I've emptied also when you're not here.
I was going to say, I know two. I know of two, and one of which that was almost a disaster, but crisis averted.
Yes, it was up to the very brim. For those that don't know how a resurfacer goes, it uses distilled water, and then that is like cooling down it basically and like coating it essentially.
And that's how it sands it and everything.
And that water then gets dirty and it has to be getting rid of and disposed of.
Yep.
Into the sewers and then gets recycled. But into the bucket is what we have as a middle point. and it's like this tub,
Massive.
big tub of water, so we don't have to do it every 2 seconds. And yeah, I think almost daily I've had to change it out
As of late, yeah.
because of all the resurfacing.
I know a couple of discs sometimes come out a little wet.
Or a little wet or a little warm when it starts to get like
Very low.
when it starts to get low and the water is just like half coating it, it gets warm.
Yep.
They're hot discs.
But those are lifesavers, and almost done with the loose. Hopefully by the next episode we should be done.
Done with the floor looses. There'll always be more looses coming in. A decent amount come in just during the time we've done it. It's like almost a spindle full of games just since we started.
So if anyone wants loose games at a cheaper price compared to buying the case and everything, you know, all of our disc-based as of right now are buy one, get one free. Loose disc-based games, excuse me.
Yes.
And you don't have to be, like, I want to just make sure everyone knows, too, you don't have to stick in PS1. You could do PS1 and a 360 game as long as it's loose disc. And equal or lesser value, of course, but PSP counts in there.
Yes.
Yep.
Sega Dreamcast, and then get a Sega Saturn game.
Yep.
And get 2 free.
Yes, and then you just got to find the box.
I mean, if you
want
want
to
box.
complete it. Yeah, I think that's inside the store. Outside the store, I have been working diligently on feeding everyone's requests out there of controllers. That's going to be our not newest thing, but something that we never had to take into account for realistically with GameStop around the corner. You know, we didn't have to worry about Xbox One controllers, PS5, PS4, Joy-Cons. You know, we always carried Switch Pro controllers just because we had one and worked great, and then we just always carried them since then. But now that GameStop in Brockport at least is closed, and you know we know other ones are going to eventually close, we had to focus on that. So we've gotten Joy-Cons third party. Been selling them since November.
Yes, I want to say it's been actually. I think it might be October.
November, I think.
Let's
That's
say
what I remember.
Yeah.
At least November.
Yeah. The Chase. The pad for NSL.
And then the Double Shock 4s, those are our third-party PS4 controllers.
Love them.
Yeah, no complaints on those guys either. And we sold over 2 shelves worth. I know that's not really quantitative for the viewers, but, you know, just to have a reliable controller is great. So we pulled the trigger last week on testing out some third-party PS5 controllers and third-party Xbox One controllers.
Which is the one I'm more excited for, just because then Xbox One, Xbox Series is covered.
Yep.
And there's been a lot of people asking about that, where we just don't have anything for that system.
The controllers, when they come in on trade, you can't trust them 100%.
No. I mean, I trust Xbox over like the
You're just a fan.
No, because the PS4, you plug those into the thing every single time I've ever plugged one in.
There's a little.
They go like
no matter what. Yep.
Like they shake just a little bit. They like vibrate essentially, even if they're like almost brand new ones. With Xbox, yeah, they develop drift, but it's not that shaky. Like, I don't understand what's wrong with
you and I have opposite experiences where almost every single time I get in an Xbox controller, it has drift.
And I'm not saying
trade in with? Oh,
yes.
Don't trade.
I'm not saying with one not at home, because that's a different story. That's just how you treat your things to some extent. And then I'm talking about using it on the gamepad tester.
Oh, I know.
Every time you don't have the jitter on the PS4 controllers.
No, I will get them. I'm just saying with Xbox controllers.
With Xbox controllers, they can drift, but they always have jitter with the PlayStation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like,
specifically.
Like, even if they're healthy, it looks like they're not healthy because they have that jitter. It's weird. I don't like it. I don't like the jitter.
I had that earlier this week with some PS5 controllers that somebody was looking at trading in. So I was like, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna.
I had to say that.
I have to pass.
Because the jitter, like, it could be like the most minute jitter.
Yeah.
But sometimes it slowly develops to be more and more.
Or when you're in the game, when you showed me it in the game, like it was like a slight jitter on the screen,
and then
in the game you're like
slightly moving to the left. Yeah.
I mean, which
is why we will also, like, if they have that, plug them into a console and make sure that they're safe, even if it's like just a little bit of that jitter.
Yep. And that's why we went with third-party brand new ones. I'm hoping, I'm not going to reveal the price yet just in case, but they're going to be cheaper than first-party, of course. I'm hoping that the price goes down since it's newer technology for these companies. But it's an alternative at least, so we're going to give it a shot. What's the worst that can happen? We don't carry them anymore. They don't do well. They're not up to our standards.
If they're not up to our standards, then we just don't have them.
I mean, we can even, like
we can get ones up to our standards.
Yeah, and it happens all the time here. I'm looking at the PS2 controllers out there. Like, we have the ones in box from a good company. We tried a different brand. They're okay, but not as good as the one in the box. Two different companies, of course, made them.
The
but
plastic feels a little weird on the newer ones, but I mean, they're fine as far as I know. I haven't had anyone come back with them or anything like that. It's just
they're different.
They feel a little more plasticky, like less hard plastic. It's like a softer plastic or something.
Why they're at the price that they're at.
Yes, they're $10 instead of 15.
Right, and that's our biggest thing here with controllers, especially. Like, we don't want a iffy controller to leave or whatever we want to call that.
Yeah.
You know, we make sure we trial everything, I guess you would say. You know, the 360 wired controllers that we just got in 2 or 3 months ago, whenever that was. They're perfect.
Oh, those things are amazing. It's almost like they bought them out of like a Microsoft warehouse.
Microsoft closed down one of their warehouses that they could give us. Or the DualShock 3s, I'm looking at those, Yes, there's going to be one out of every 1,000 or whatever the number is. 1,000's probably a huge exaggeration.
Every
couple hundred.
Yeah.
But for the most part, those are great, reliable third-party controllers, and that's what we're here for, is to try to fill that GameStop void now with the PS5 and the Xbox controller, Xbox One controllers, Series controllers. At least that's a good thing that Series or Xbox did. They kept the same controller.
They kept the same controller. Yeah, I do like having. I use my Xbox One as just like a Game Pass machine, but then I just use my controllers interchangeably. Where I have like 6 controllers now, just because I've had time to get them, and
Accumulate.
all from the Xbox One to current Series controllers are all the same. I've had like 2 break on me. The motherboard is so much easier to fix on them, at least, than a PlayStation 1, because they have the membrane and stuff throughout. It's you take apart those and then they'll break from just taking it apart on a PlayStation controller. That's in my experience.
We took apart one the other day.
Yeah, that
never got it back together.
No, I put it back together.
So
yeah, I just got to fix it.
The issue I've had is I'll have one that's like I hear like a little jingle inside, right? Little rock or not
plastic,
a little plastic piece is like broken off on the inside. Take it apart, and then I'll get out that, put back to the controller together, even get everything fitting back perfectly, and now somebody's broken about it, and I don't know why. It's happened to me 2 or 3 times in the past like year, and I'm like very annoyed by that. It's PS2 controllers and PS3 controllers at least that have that. Like, I think it's the PS2 that has. It's just pressure holding it together for the contacts on the motherboard.
Oh, I don't remember those ones.
There's a membrane
I haven't done those ones in a while.
There's a membrane on the outside that has like the contacts for the motherboard, and you have to apply pressure to get it hooked up. It's not like a pin connection like on Xbox.
Oh, okay.
It's a pressure based. So if the pressure comes undone, it just is no connection.
It's because Sony's got a better controller. They want to make sure you got adaptive fingers.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the pressure sensitive
buttons. I have no idea.
I hate that so much.
They could have done that with a connection.
Right.
I hate that.
You saying putting stuff back together? I just thought about the times that you and I have screwed up. Not like broken, but like we've put together a Game Boy Advance and screwed up the membrane in the wrong spot, or forgot to put the membrane in.
I tightened the screen on I think it was 2 Game Boy Advance goes. I tightened it too much on one side, and then black pixels like on the other side, so I had to do it again.
Yeah,
it happens.
$50 gone.
50 of your dollars.
Yeah. But anyways, anything else from you guys on the third-party controllers?
I'm just glad that we're actually like able to carry them, especially the Joy-Cons. I'm so happy that we're able to have a cheap third-party solution.
Yep.
And honestly, some of the buttons on them, I actually like the way they feel more than official Joy-Cons.
Oh yeah, and I was gonna say, I forgot to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up. Everyone that's gotten our Joy-Cons all understand, like, hey, $30 compared to, I don't even know what Joy-Cons are at.
70, I think.
There we go, $70.
For standard, at least.
I think one person was like, I'll just pick up 2 of these, and if one of them breaks, I still saved money.
Yeah, yesterday, I think it was a couple picked up 2 pairs. At first, they're like, "Oh, I might get one," and then they're like, "Yeah, just throw another pair in there." And it's like, I'm not gonna stop you.
Right. Well, I mean, 2 for the price of 1, essentially. Realistically,
it came to less than I think is like 64 or something is what the total
with the
came
tax,
to.
yeah.
It was.
No,
Nice.
they're great. And more to come. As soon as we get them in, I'm sure we can make a quick segment of showing it off on the next podcast. Hopefully they'll be here by then. I guess we can go into the biggest news, as long as you guys are ready for the big reveal.
Yeah.
Here at GamePlayers, we are always changing. I'm sure anyone that come in here knows, like, every 2 weeks the store is always changing. We can't change the inside of the store anymore. I'm sure I can find a way, and I'm not going to, but the last year we've added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 display cases, 2 cash registers, 2 card sorting sections, a laser disc section. Like, we've added a lot. This year, I took a leap of faith, and we have just secured this week. I'm going to call it the warehouse space.
Yeah.
So we have a warehouse, essentially. It's not big. It is big, but it's not like
It's about the size of the current store, but it's going to be storage space.
Storage base, yep. There's going to be a lot of storage. It's going to help us internally, the team here, get you guys games. So right now, I'll give you guys just a quick synopsis. If we sell, I'm just going to grab this game, Octopath Traveler, and I have, let's say, 3 other copies, right? One's here, one might be on our back wall of doubles, but then there's going to be one at my house, right? In comic book boxes. And you guys have seen the comic book boxes. I think I moved 60 of them today. They're annoying. They're not organized because at the time we just wanted to inventory stuff. So once I sell those 2 items, I have a third one technically, but it's not in the store. It's just in the abyss.
A box.
It's in a box somewhere in my basement. So that hurts the consumer and us, because now we can't sell the game that someone might be looking for, and I don't like that. Like, we try to make sure we have everything out there that we have, right? One of every item. It's difficult. So that was part of this leap of faith. Is now I'm going to be working on a nice storage inventory system where if we sell 2 of those, we know we have another one. I can go grab it from the warehouse, or you guys can go grab it from the warehouse. But I think the biggest news, more news on that, is in addition to the warehouse space, I've created 2 more space, or I will be creating 2 more spaces, a couple more spaces, I guess you would say, in there. One of which I will highlight, and then I'll let the other 2 take over. I am currently working on an online store. The details are going to be in flux. I know for the longest time we said we'll never do an online store. Never. And, I wanted to stick to that. But in reality, I can't keep sitting on 145 copies of Connect Adventures. Like, I'll sell one of those a year. I don't know the number. We're not going to sell the stuff that's in store. We're not going to sell Disney Sports Basketball if someone was looking at that, right? We're going to sell the doubles of the doubles of the doubles online.
The thousands of sports games that we have, like 3 copies. If we have like 2 copies, 3 copies,
it's gonna say
we'll have an exact number later.
Yep.
Of that. It's for the store. But yeah, if it's we have hundreds of copies of Connect Adventures. Like, that's no exaggeration at all.
Right.
So we need to not have that many just taking up room.
Space, right.
Not that they're going to sell like particularly well online, probably.
And we're using terrible examples. We could use other good ones like BioShock Infinite.
We probably have at least 50 of those.
Right. So if we could sell 1 of those a week online, it's not going to hurt the store. Like, we'll eventually get, like you said, to that number of, okay, you can't sell any more online. They're all designated for in-store.
Yes.
But we want to expand. So that's kind of the thought of selling our doubles of doubles online. We call it doubles of doubles, but it's probably like doubles of double, 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 double.
It's, probably quintuplet plus.
Yeah.
And our inventory system is going to help us with that, and it's just going to better the store. So, if we can sell one online, we can sell another one online. That's more money that's coming into the store that wasn't there. Where I can, go, okay, let's hire someone else. Let's grab more hours for an individual. Let's, instead of that card sorting machine, let's buy a new card sorting machine.
One of the fancy schmancy ones.
Right. So that's coming. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be the next podcast. I am not good with online websites, so it's going to take me a little bit, but our point of sale will automatically integrate with it. Order comes through, boom, be able to print the label and everything. It's going to be beautiful.
Are we going to do possible in-store like things with the doubles of doubles.
So, are you talking about the Flegos?
Flegos / the dupes is what I was wondering. I am actually we're talking about some stuff, but I wasn't clear on it.
So there's a possibility, and I'll jump into it. Worst case, it doesn't happen. Where we have doubles of Flegos. I'm trying to look at the bin over there. Where we might dabble in trying to sell individual Flegos, or I hate doing mystery boxes, but we might do like a Flego kind of mystery box where I'll do X amount and you'll get X amount of value out of it, where it's a cheaper price. You got to pay for shipping and stuff, of course, but you don't get to pick. It's just going to be an Owen or Brendan or myself going, oh, you got X number, put in the box, shipping label, have fun. Same thing with maybe pins, stickers, crock charms, just something else to kind of get the store's name out there on the line. I like using that word, on the line.
I do not like
really,
on the line.
don't ever say that.
Yep, on the line. If anyone knows the reference, comment it all over, or just keep saying it to these guys.
On the line.
On the line.
Heard it.
No, we're not going to say what it's from. I know exactly what it's from.
I'm hazy on it, but
I feel like I've heard it.
You've heard it.
I feel like it's like SNL.
It's a very nope.
Free sounds like
yeah. But once we do that, we'll publish it. We'll let everyone know. Again, we're not taking from the store. I do not want a Joe Schmo coming in here looking at Sky Gunner and then we go, yup, psych, that just sold online. Sorry, you can't have it.
Yep. Yeah, or like having things in store that aren't for sale. That's another thing that I've always been like,
yes.
Oh my God, why would you do that?
Yes.
But anything you see on the shelf won't be on the online store.
Unless it's a double of a double.
Well,
but
that's not here.
Right.
It won't be here if it's online. It's going to be just the doubles of doubles.
So I would assume, in the next...
Nothing's changing here.
Yes.
Really.
Actually, well, yes, nothing's changing here, but in the next 2-3 weeks, our customers should see another, like we did a couple months ago, influx of just random games that just showed up. Well, yeah. That was part of the inventory.
We're going to be finding out what are doubles and what are ones that we actually need here.
Because, we ran into a couple yesterday. I don't know the names, but we sold 2 of them in the last 2 months, but I had a 3rd and 4th one at
Wii Music.
There's a good one.
There was one that we have like 3 of, but I think we have 1 in store right now. But we know we have more.
Right.
Like
easily.
That we need here.
Yep. And I can't wait for that. That's my biggest one is that and customers not losing the opportunity to buy it in store. Will there become a time that this Xenoblade Chronicles a year later? Yeah, we have 2 of them now.
We have 2 $100 Xenoblade Collector's Editions. One day, there might be no one in the area that wants that.
That's my year and a half timeline, whatever it is, where I'll take one of those or one of it and then just sell it online, sell it on the website. I'm not going to take from the people that are browsing here. That's the biggest takeaway from this segment is we're trying to expand without hurting our loyal customers.
Yeah.
You guys. With that, we got this podcast. It was rocky at first, not really rocky, but it was unknown territory for us. We've always wanted to do it. The mics were kind of terrible the first time around. You see, we got new mics. The cameras are going to be worked on, but the biggest thing, and I'll let you guys talk about this. What's next?
So, I've been wanting a more permanent setup. You've been wanting more permanent. Everyone's wanted a more permanent setup for this, so that we don't have to set up in the store just after hours having this. So we're gonna have a part of the warehouse setup is an extra room that's like attached to that, and that's going to be the new podcast area. So we're going to have. I don't want to describe anything because it's subject to change.
And it's literally just happened this week, so nothing is set in stone yet. Yes. Besides, these mics are coming, we're coming, these cameras are coming.
These mics are part of the purchases leading to a better setup for the. I think you've probably already seen, if you've watched along with each one, the slowly getting a little bit better each time. First week we only had 3 cameras and 1 mic that was recording off screen that barely got my audio, so I had to boost the crap out of that. And then second week we've had the wide shot working, a little bit better audio, and then this week we have all our own individual mics on top of the stuff that we've already increased, which this was harder to set up than, like, having 3 mics is
I know.
Not as easy as you'd think. You think you just plug them in. You'd have like software that's like very specifically made for that. It's right down there. We have a computer that's recording this.
Is it called Voice Meter Potato?
Yes, it's Voice Meter Potato. If you yourself ever want to record more than 2 mics at the same time, when you need to, yeah, Voice Meter Potato, very very useful. But yeah, no, there's gonna be a permanent setup. I think Zach, you'll be on your own solo couch, and then me and Brendan will be on ours. But I don't want to get into anything until we're there and it's actually set up. I kind of want the vibes of a gamer's like game room, but we'll get there. I don't want to spoil anything until you can see it. Yes. You'll be able to see it for video listeners. Yeah.
Audio watchers.
Audio watchers. You'll be able to hopefully hear the improvements because we also get sound paneling and stuff like that.
More of that tonight, tomorrow.
It's exciting. I will be over there in the wee hours of the night, probably taping things to walls.
Yes, and I want to get your input on it real quick, but on your note, everyone that's out there, I hope they realize that the store doesn't just operate from 12 to 8 p.m. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes. We don't need to disclose everything, but there's a lot that we as a collective put in. Owen focuses on this. I focus on this. You focus on this. After 8 o'clock, we have other tasks, I want to say.
Even sometimes we're just finishing up just like
day-to-day
stuff because sometimes if you've ever been here around like 8 o'clock, it can be a mess here still. Mm-hmm. We like to try and get that cleaned up as much as possible before the next day, and we have to deal with it. Or maybe I'm not dealing with it, maybe you're dealing with it the next day. And
it's tough.
Yeah. You want to get everything together.
Well, you don't want to come into a messy place.
You don't want to come to a messy place as well as you don't want to leave a place a mess.
Or
so you end up being here an hour past.
Yes. Yep. And it happened. It's going to, like Brendan and I talked about it yesterday, it's going to happen a little bit more. We don't need to get into specifics, but, due to the circumstances
We're having a warehouse.
A warehouse,
yeah.
right?
It's going to require a lot.
We should have done like a baby announcement. We're having a warehouse.
Yeah.
Damn it, we ruined that one.
Just edit it in later.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Edit that in. What is your takes on it, Brendan, on the warehouse, the podcast setup, online?
I am just absolutely excited that we finally were able to get a warehouse, something that we have been after forever at this point. I mean, especially in the past year or two, ever since moving up here. I mean, I'm sure you've been looking since like day one. Being able to have just a permanent setup where we can all work on our stuff after hours is going to be so much nicer. And not having to lug our stuff around or, having to put everything up, take it down, put it up, take it down. It's just going to make life so much easier. It's going to really take a weight off of our shoulders. But for the time being, obviously, with setting everything up, it's going to put a bit of a weight on our shoulders. But like with anything, if you want to succeed, you got to put in some blood, sweat, and tears every here and there. So that's going to be coming up pretty shortly.
And you also, we should be having a more permanent setup for like if you ever seen the Defend a Bad games or reviews of games or stuff like that, and like the short form content, a better setup for that, more like nice one, hopefully. And then same thing for Brendan filming the Flagos. Yep. I think you're gonna have a more permanent setup, so that's a nice setup, pre-setup every day for you, not taking up space in your living room.
Yeah, I was about to say, Cheyenne already loves it so much that it, takes up space in the dining room, and it's all got its own little corner, and take it all out, and so. But
yeah, so we're gonna have all sorts of things, and hopefully a little bit of room to expand into different types of content that we'll be able to do, with having like a studio almost set up.
Yeah, studio within the warehouse, I would say.
Mm-hmm. It's a small room, so it's probably not going to be like making movies or anything right now, but maybe in the future. Horror films and stuff like that I'd love to work on.
Yeah, and again, I'm just going to preface again, I keep saying again, but thank you to everyone. Like, it means a lot, the words that we see, or not words that we see, oh my gosh, one of those days. The words that we hear when someone comes in here, or a little kid, dropping an I don't know if we can say that on YouTube, but
I can believe it.
Right.
But like that means a lot. Like I'm looking at the wall of games, and I wanted to be that game store that everyone wanted to come to. Brendan and I talked about it yesterday. We want people, and I think you were just leaving when we started talking about it. Come here and browse and bring back those memories. We had the trade first thing in the morning. I don't know if you caught it. She was talking about how when she was selling all this stuff, that this brought back feelings of happiness and hey, I played this with my brother or this or that. And that's the biggest drive. And so again, I just want to thank everyone out there. Your support of just coming in here, giving the feedback. Sometimes it might seem like we're not brushing you off, but just so busy with so much other stuff.
Yes.
But we do appreciate every single one of you guys to the extreme. Without you, this store wouldn't be here. Without these guys, this store wouldn't be here. Without me, this store wouldn't be here.
On that note, I was going to just thank you to anyone that's like watched the podcast, come in here and like given like some either notes or like just saying that they liked it. I appreciate that. It's nice to see people watch it. When you make something online, normally you put it on there and then you never get real feedback from it. And then having this store, it's nice to be able to just like pretty much immediately get feedback on anything.
Yeah, and that's where I would say like, getting this warehouse. I'm going to segue into our next thing. Getting this warehouse and being able to have a permanent setup for this, but as far as like recommendations, reviews, whatever you want to call it, we don't know what we're going to call it. We're going to talk to you about stuff that we either like or we don't like,
A vertical format on the shorts page on YouTube.
Yes.
TikTok.
And probably TikTok, mainly YouTube.
Yes, mainly YouTube.
Because we do have a lot to talk about. And this week's review recommendation, whatever we want to call this, was mainly the Megamind series.
So we talked about Megamind in the first episode a little bit. Just briefly mentioned the Doom Syndicate, the second one, and then the TV show. None of us had seen them.
Nope.
I was curious, and I heard they were bad, but I was curious on them. So that's what we decided to watch. Let's go over the first one real quick.
Yes. First one's great.
First one's fantastic.
I tried to find. So we rewatched everything if you haven't watched it. Or no, excuse me. We rewatched if you already watched it, and then watched the new stuff if you haven't watched it. That's the rules, I guess you would say, of this segment.
Yes, I tried to make sure I rewatched it. I watched them in a weird order. I watched the new one, the movie, and then I watched the part of the I watched part of the show, then the new one, then the rest of the show. Then I went back and rewatched the movie and then the short film.
Okay, so you kind of
I had a weird order, because I was making sure that I could watch the new stuff, and then I realized that the show is a continuation of the movie, so I watched the movie next. Yeah.
Okay. I know. I see what you're saying. Yep. So do we want to just go chronological with that?
Let's chronological of when they released it and everything, and actually same word for like in terms of timeline order if you want to talk about that.
I was about to say, I think it actually all just works out like pretty much perfectly in terms of releasing chronological order.
Yes, it's literally like not to spoil it when we're not talking about it yet, but yeah, the Button short film, The Button of Doom, is a day after the Megamind movie. And then Doom Syndicate is 2 days after. So, and then the show's immediately after that. So
yes, Megamind is a classic. Like, I don't want to go into each scene of what it was, but whoever was on that project, you could see had passion for a great animated movie. That was when like animation was like big too.
I mean, animation's still
big now, but
CGI animation.
CGI animation was at its peak. It's 2010. I watched it when I was younger. I think I watched it in theaters, if not like as soon as it came to DVD. I watched it when it came out, pretty much. Having rewatched it so many times, I remember the movie very well, but the thing I noticed on this one is how, at least for me, a little bit boring the part before Titan shows up is.
I was talking to you about that. So how slow it was and how long it takes to get there.
It's kind of a slog.
But you need that for the background.
Yeah, you need to establish all the characters. You need to establish Megamind is down in the dumps, and then he talks to Roxanne, or Christina. I'm thinking Wednesday Addams, Christina Ricci, Roxanne Ricci, who's then tells him that, there should be a new hero to rise up, and then he makes Titan, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Essentially.
On accident, actually. That's the
And
best
actually, he
way.
just shoots. He makes the formula from Metro Man's like dandruff.
Yeah.
And then he shoots in his lab, and then Roxanne's filmographer, video man,
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
I think he played it perfectly.
He did.
He was the great cast for that.
Who has an obsession with Roxanne, gets shot into the nose, and then turns into Titan.
And then I really.
That's when the movie kicks off.
Right, exactly. And then ever since, it's when that happens going forward, and then you got Titan's backstory and what leads Titan down that path.
Well, the fact that he's already not a great guy, so then giving him a not so great guy superpowers, what do you expect to happen?
He's one of those guys where he's harmless because he has no power. Kind of a dweeby, nice guy, as the term is on a line. But yeah, he's relatively harmless. He's a little creepy at times, but he's talking to Roxanne about being in love with her, but she's gone. They just walked away, so you didn't hear any of it.
Yep. He's punching the van and stuff like that.
Yeah, but once he gets powers is when he gets
obsessed.
Oh wait, now I have control. I'm the one that should be desired.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm the one that should be you should love me because you loved Metro Man, right? When she never even liked Metro Man, apparently.
No.
You find that out, and then, which is a bit of a shocker. This is a kid, you'd assume that she's in love with Metro Man because he's Metro Man.
Yep. And I don't want to give any spoilers if anyone hasn't watched it, and
I think spoilers are fair.
Well, yeah,
You're doing a review
for a 15-year-old movie.
It's such a good movie, and the casting was great. I know we've said it already, but
Will
Ferrell is fantastic.
And he's just so self-centered as Megamind, and then Will Ferrell just portrays that perfectly. Then you got Jonah Hill going against him essentially.
Having Brad Pitt as Metro Man, I thought that was
I didn't even realize that, but that makes sense. I can hear it now.
Exactly. And then Tina Fey was Roxanne Ritchie.
And David Cross was John, right?
It was Minion. Yes.
Trump in the later ones.
Yes. But Minion, yes.
And it's a perfect casting. Megamind is a perfect amount of he's a bad guy, but also he's just kind of selfish is all, and only because of being pushed out by everyone.
Yes, Shul.
He
can't pronounce school, so it's Shul.
He can't pronounce multiple words.
That's metrocity.
Metrocity instead of metrocity. Olo instead of hello. Spider instead of spider. Which I don't know why they chose that, because he's supposed to be a super intelligent guy, but he can't pronounce certain words.
Too intelligent for his own good or something
he's trying to over-pronounce it or something.
Yes. I'm sure that's what it is, yeah.
But it's funny, but I always just wait, I know he's an alien, but so is Metro Man. And he's perfect.
Remember, Metro Man was raised in this rich household. Megamind was raised in a prison.
Yeah.
Which, that's something, when you really think about the concept of, we're raising a baby in prison, it's no big deal.
They let that happen. They arrest him. They arrest a baby. It's not like they found the baby in the prison. They're like, let's get this baby out of here into an orphanage. No, they put it in cuffs. I guess the prison break scene is why, but that's an infant still at that point. If not a baby, he was at most 2. But lock him up.
I like in that movie how it started, and I know a lot of movies do this now, where they started 3/4 of the way movie of his scene falling down, and let me rewind and tell you how I got here. I like that when some movies are able to do that flawlessly.
If they're able to do it well, I hate it when it's and how did I end up in this situation?
Yeah. Right.
It can be a bad trope. In Megamind, it's done well. And I do think, though, because if you pay attention, then what immediately follows that scene later is he falls, and immediately the movie ends after that, actually. Because he falls and loads the gun, and then he shoots himself with the dehydration ray. Lands into the water. and then defeats Titan.
Yep.
Like that is
Instantly.
Like that falling scene that the movie starts out in is the scene he wins, and then there's a little bit after that, and then if we want to go into Button, that follows immediately after where he's now the savior of the city after they built the statue at the end of the first one.
Yep.
But he's trying to sell off all his his
For
evil
stupid
stuff.
amount of money too.
Yes, so
Yeah, he's
like
actually-
billions of dollars. It's like, where did you even get the? You just gotta wonder with these types of things, where do you even get the funding for all of your evil stuff?
Stealing money and robbing
Like,
banks.
He's a villain.
I mean, that's what I assume at least, or just stealing the goods. Although they did say it was an outlet store in Romania.
I forgot
That's what
about
Minion
that.
said. Like, where do you get all this stuff? That's what Roxanne said, and then it was it's just an outlet store in Romania. Don't say that. Yeah. The button,
The short was pretty for 15 minutes. I was like,
They
wow.
packed a lot in there. It's the
Still
it
original
sends
cast.
off his old self with. There's the button of doom, the titular title thing. He presses it out of curiosity because he forgot what it did.
Yep.
And then it ends up being a AI clone of him, funnily enough, that is the old evil him that then he has to defeat dressed up as Metro Man.
Yes.
Well, in a giant, but his evil consciousness goes into a giant mech, the Megamind.
Megamind,
And
yeah.
it just sees that he's wearing, the Megamind's wearing like all white, and he's like,
That's
that's Metro Man.
Yeah. He didn't
me get
assume, and then he assumes that Minion with him must be some sort of like illusion or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not the real Minion. It can't be. Which, it was solid. I'd never seen it until we did this.
Same.
I didn't know it existed at all.
Which sucks because that would have been a good, another good one
It's
in the series.
a good ending to everything, honestly. Like, because it finishes up the story where he's like, you actually get to see him be a hero for a day.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because you never got to see that with Megamind. You just saw him.
do.
Well,
You got
he
to see
created all the issues that happened in
created his
Megamind.
own issue.
He also solved his problems.
Yes,
he
but
also came through at the end of the day and
No,
saved them for us.
100%. And the thing is, he tried to make a hero in Megamind 1, and that hero ended up just not being worthy of the power.
Yes.
Well, he ended up creating a villain, which forced him to have to become the hero.
Which is the whole thing, the whole message in that is initially he believes in destiny, that you're either destined to be a hero or destined to be a villain.
Has like a whole Superman type of start of like, my home planet is about
they
to blow up.
Well, both their home planets get sucked into a black hole, and then they both get ejected. But he lands in prison. He lands in the rich people house, and the dad's just oblivious.
Yeah, I love it.
He's like, oh yeah, I got you the best baby.
only the best for you, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, the baby can fly. That's wonderful, honey.
And then do we want to go into Doom Syndicate then?
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So I have more opinions about this probably than you guys do because
I have some good
you have opinions. Okay, you guys go first. Then.
So I just made sure, just to put it on the record, that I made sure that one scene I was telling you about was in the movie.
Okay, I didn't double check the
Megamind. Okay, so Megamind, the Doom Syndicate, plus the shows came out last year. Let's make sure everyone knows that.
2023.
Say this directly to the 2024. Thank you for correcting him. Actually.
Okay, yeah, my bad.
So, Megamind, the Doom Syndicate opens.
Versus the Doom Syndicate.
Whatever. I didn't see the verses there. Opens. Literally like a Deadpool movie, breaking the fourth wall and everything.
So-
and I hated it. So right off the bat, I did not want to watch the movie.
That's her. He's talking to you see on the border of the screen, recording, I believe. So he's recording a thing for his fans, if I remember right. Along with a lot of the movie and a lot of the show
The show follows that.
a lot more of the show than the movie.
Yes.
Where it is talking directly to his fans or to characters within the universe. It's not really breaking the fourth wall, but it's definitely tapping it.
It's tapping.
So
it's not smashing the fourth.
It's
wall,
not smashing
tapping
it.
on.
Yeah.
And
It's not full Deadpool. It's like a found footage film.
Yes. Pretty much. I think Doom Syndicate could have been a decent movie if it was done 10 years ago.
So, actually, here's a fun thing for you guys. The writers are the same writers.
Oh.
So for both the Doom Syndicate and for this show, I was looking up on IMDb and trying to find anything. Actually, the only thing that these people have written is Megamind, Doom Syndicate, and Megamind Rulez.
Sorry if you're listening, then. Roasting Doom Syndicate right now.
So yeah, sorry, the original people, but the director changed. Every one of the voice cast changed. Only one of the people is talented. Like outside of it, like I recognized an actor, Mr. Donut.
Wait, was Mr. Donut?
I like that part of the movie.
That's the only character I actually like.
So fair enough, if that's the only character you like. But Mr. Donut's played by the guy from Arrested Development with the claw hand. I can't remember his name right now. You know, like
oh my god, played by what's his name?
You can't remember his name right now.
Insert name.
Buster. Yes.
That's
the actor plays Mr. Donut, who's he's one of the good characters. My favorite character was Nighty Night. I actually liked Nighty Night.
I agree. I did.
Let's just cover the plot since it's more likely you guys have not seen this movie at all. But it follows Megamind after he saved the city. It's day 2 now. The Doom Syndicate is in jail, and they see on TV Megamind having been handed the key to the city.
Yep.
And during that, they're like, "Oh, Megamind's finally following through with the plan. He must have taken over Metro City.
Yeah,
that's our signal.
Yep.
Let's, it's time to go join him." So they break out of jail, and my favorite line of the movie is, Nighty Night has a control over darkness, and he goes over, "Hello, darkness, my old friend," and takes a shadow from the wall.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, he says, "Hello, darkness, my old friend," and then he takes the shadow just to beat up a bunch of guards with it. But there's I don't remember what the mime's name is, but the mime that can mind control people.
Yeah.
There's the weather girl. Who constantly
Doppler something.
Doppler, yeah, and she misforecasts constantly throughout the movie and thing. Or she uses like earthquakes and stuff like that, like natural disasters, as weather things, and everyone keeps on correcting her.
Lightning. That's all she does. Is she shoots?
No, she does tornadoes too.
Oh, she does. Oh, yeah, she does.
And then there's Behemoth, who's just a big hulking thing.
Yeah.
He's made of magma essentially. But they also all say that they used to be like Megamind was the leader of the Doom Syndicate and everything. That's why they've been waiting in prison for him to
give the
signal that they're ready to go. That is a almost plot hole because you really would have think you'd mention that in Megamind's backstory in the first one. But I'll ignore that. I'll give them the pass on that for the most part.
Because it was never brought up, so it's like...
you're filling in a gap that wasn't, like, of the time between them being a baby and all those fights that you see, like, posters of in Mega Man 1. But yeah, their whole thing is they go over to go meet up with Megamind so they can fulfill his plan.
And essentially, Megamind just needs to pretend to be a villain this entire movie.
Yeah, it's all just him. He says he cannot defeat this Doom Syndicate, even though they're definitely weaker than Titan or Metro Man by like tenfold. Yeah. Together they're a little bit powerful, but they're a lot weaker. If you just built some robots, I'm sure he could have handled it. But instead, he just pretends the entire movie to be a villain where then he's like fixing things. I think there's funny moments.
There is.
But there's no like
when they first destroy the city, parts of the city.
And he's trying to repair it.
And I don't want to be held liable for this. We have robots cleaning up the city. That was funny, yes.
It didn't feel like the same Megamind, but it felt like a different Megamind by the end of me watching these.
That's why anytime, especially when Megamind starts talking at the beginning of Doom Syndicate, I almost shut it off right away. Yep. Like, to be honest, like the first couple of minutes, I was trying so hard not to just like throw my TV out. It was very hard to like sit through that because I was like, you could have just added these on as a couple episodes of the show. You did not need to make a whole hour-and-a-half TV movie.
Yes, it should have been a part of the show.
I'm sorry, it was terrible.
As a couple episodes.
Like backstory in the movie.
It is, if you look it up, a pilot for the show. So it is not supposed to be like a movie quality. It's a Peacock original. It wasn't. Yeah. It's supposed to be like a big budget movie thing. But you can feel it. To me, it felt like it was aimed at that same demographic of like PJ Masks.
Yes.
Like
see that.
7 or younger. Though some of the jokes are a little bit aimed at adults. You can tell, like
You have to do that in order to get the parents to, sit through it.
the writers, like, it just feels like they didn't know who they wanted to write for. They couldn't write a good story, so they just make everything a joke.
Yep.
Yes.
Which,
just like the movie.
The movie's a joke. But
it had good parts.
It has good parts. Like Nighty Night, I enjoyed throughout the whole thing, and everyone just makes fun of him for being too dark and gloomy the entire time.
But then, he doesn't help himself when he gets he finds a teddy bear at a store that they're robbing, and is like Mr. Snuggle something, and it's like you're not making a case for yourself, man.
His name was Darkness Night or something. It was something like more edgy before.
Yes, yeah.
And then he was like, well, Nighty Night's cool. And then he gets to have one line in the movie where it actually, almost for a second, sounds cool when he says like Nighty Night when he like knocks out Megamind. And then, he follows it up with saying like, wasn't that cool? Which kind of ruins the moment.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Same thing happens later in the TV show with Keiko, who's introduced in this movie. She's a little girl that wants to film Megamind and make him a star, essentially.
It felt like another one of those cringy, like, what's the character's name from wasn't it like Speedball or something like that from the Spider-Man games?
Those fan characters, the adoring fan from Oblivion, like one of those people that's like obsessed with someone,
and it's just I've seen it so many times, and it's
not the most annoying version of that.
It's not the most annoying, but it's just like here we go.
It's also every new character that's introduced is a slightly different art style than the original. Like you said, Keiko. This is off camera. You said that Keiko looked like an adult. Like they took an adult's face.
It looks like an adult's face plastered onto a kid's body.
A small child.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Like it just every character looks not quite right. Like it's not like the original. It's also it's a lower budget. All the lighting effects are off, so everyone just looks plasticky.
Well, and also too, like in characters' movements, they're just like they're either really stiff or they're just kind of like really quick, and then like you notice like the little fine details, which obviously I don't have the budget for, of like on Minion, who is now Chum.
Changes his name. Megamind changes his name, right?
No, Minion changes to Chum because of the chum sticks or something like that. Or chum sausages.
Throughout the entire TV show and movie, the Meatsicles.
Yes.
Which I don't know why.
I think it's Mr. Chum's Meatsicles or something like that.
I don't think so. It's Mr. Minion's Meatsicles, I think, because he changes his name from Minion to Chum.
Yes. Yep, that's
because he
right.
doesn't want to be like copyright infringing.
Yes, that's what it was. That because like now they're heroes and whatnot. Like he needs a name or something. I don't know, but it was It
was unnecessary. Really, it makes it just kind of confusing more than anything else. From the first one to calling him Chum, and then he's like,
well, okay. Do you think they did that because of Despicable Me? With the Minions in that movie?
Oh,
maybe to differentiate it, but it felt a little bit weird.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's actually one of my other favorite moments? It was actually, I like them more in the show, but the Go Fish Gang. They're just gangsters that are dressed up as fish.
Yeah.
They just there's so many puns. There's so many dad jokes throughout this entire movie / show franchise. But like they do like sleep with the fishes stuff, and like they know Megamind's good, and later in the film, when he's still trying to fool the Doom Syndicate, they're at a party, and they're trying to go talk to the Doom Syndicate and tell him Megamind's actually good. He put us in jail. So Megamind has to like dehydrate them all before they can reach him.
Oh yeah, because the Doom Syndicate is throwing a party in Megamind's evil lair.
The big plan.
I think what made me laugh in that scene is like, Megamind's like, where'd all these people come from? They're like, oh, these are criminals from all over the city, all here, and it's like
they're all like regular people.
They all look like normal people, but they're
one
all
guy
criminals.
with a ski mask.
Yes, yeah.
that we saw earlier, I think, like robbing a bank or something like that.
I feel like then he's like shows up in almost every single episode that they're stopping him.
He shows up in at least the first episode of Megamind Rulez as like a paid actor robber, I think, if I remember right.
I don't know. I just remember him showing up like a couple times throughout the show.
No, fair.
And every single time they just stop him like right then and there.
I think to skip to the show a little bit, the dude monkey there, he hires the guy to pretend to be a villain.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's the same guy with the ski mask. Skipping back to Doom Syndicate, or reverting back, the big plan is just to take, their plan that Megamind told them before they went to jail was to take him and launch him to space and have Metro City just be in space for them to rule over. Which is like, you already have Metro City. Why do you need it in space? Like, does it really make sense? Like,
sounds like an Age of Ultron reference.
Well, so what they end up doing is then Minion tries to save the city, and he actually breaks the panel that controls it, and so the city drops towards Earth.
Well, no, he's out of his suit.
Yeah, but then he flops onto the control panel and he actually hits the button, and then Megamind's like, "You're dropping it too fast. You gotta slow it down or whatever." And it's literally the meteorite like thing inside of Age of Ultron, where the city's just falling towards the Earth.
Starts shooting it up and everything. Like yes,
and
then it's falling down.
It's just Age of Ultron.
And get your people over there. And I hated that scene so much in the movie.
I thought it was very like, I understood that they needed a world-ending plot or a Metro City ending plot, but like, you already had the Doom Syndicate. You could have just had a final battle.
Yep.
Seriously.
Right. You would skip that whole scene. Just gone to the final battle.
But they're integral to the show.
They are integral to the show, but they do get locked up in jail by the end of the movie.
No, I know, but then they're like out and about like nothing's going on in the show.
That's because Machiavellian. The end reveal at the end of the Doom Syndicate was that Megamind has a secret teacher who we never saw in the movie named Machiavellian, who's a brain in the current state. He used to be a man, but now he's a brain. Apparently Megamind defeated his teacher. Now his teacher's seeking revenge by going to the Doom Syndicate. That's really what the Doom Syndicate was there to set up, was this better villain. Better in quotes. Then the movie just ends there. It's really like nothing. Like, then they're back to, Keiko is a part of the group and everything's pretty much back to normal. Roxanne's now elected mayor.
Yes,
at the end of the movie.
Mayor
because the mayor's
he's
a coward the whole time.
He's like, I don't know what to do. He's like, please somebody just do it. I didn't know mayoring was going to be so hard. And it's that made me laugh too.
Yeah, and also the subplot of the entire movie is that Minion is fired or wants to be more part of
he wants to be a sidekick.
He wants to be a sidekick instead of being a minion. And then so he goes and works for a diner, which has the grossest food in the world. One guy with a pet cockroach that comes as a customer.
I think the minion said that there was, instead of only having 2 customers a day, why not get more? It would be more, something about the cash flow or whatever.
Yeah, increased
cash flow.
And then he asked him to specialize into donuts, or you just specialize into food, and he chooses donuts, and then takes this dump of a place, and then fully automates it to make just donuts. It's just an assembly line of donuts in the back. And the guy's much more cheery. The guy that plays Buster in Arrested Development
becomes Mr. Donut.
Mr. Donut. He goes from this gross cook to Mr. Donut. And that plot kind of just ends when Minion just decides to join back because
Megamind needs him.
Well, Megamind needs him, but does he disguise him? No. He just needs him, and then they just join back up.
Yep.
But onto the show, right? Anything else you guys want to talk about Doom Syndicate? Or
honestly, no.
It's okay. I would give it like a 3 out of 10. Probably.
That's generous. I was going to give it like a half a star out of 10. That's what I did on Plex, was half a star out of 5.
That's 1 star.
Wait, that's
1 out of 10.
That's 1 out of 10.
Well, okay,
I go out on 10
whatever. Scale. It was on a 5 scale. So
I maybe a 2, but honestly, I found that the humor was okay. It just wasn't made for my audience. Is the big thing. Like, I can tell it's aged at a lower demographic.
Yes.
Like 7-year-olds. So I'm not gonna
So they're not gonna care.
They're not gonna care, but also like a lot of the humor was just made for that. Where I never once laughed out loud to anything that was said, but like I could appreciate some of the stuff that was done. Oh, also like music was a big part of Megamind. So they decided to shoehorn that in multiple times in the movie and in the show, but they have to use like copyright free, generic, nothing burgers of music. So
it's terrible.
It's just terrible.
It's just terrible.
It would have been better if you just never addressed that you were playing music. Yep. Because they play music like they're gonna dance to it. And it's the most corniest music ever.
Free music that they could get.
Yes, it was really bad. That was something that was really disappointing. But I also understand it was a very low budget thing. Still, I just don't have it. If you can't have good, why bother?
Yeah.
But I would give it a 3 just because there's parts I liked, like Nighty Night, Mr. Donut, and that's gonna be all really that I liked about Doom Syndicate. Otherwise, it was just mediocre.
Nice. What about the show? All
right, on to the show. So first episode, was Dude Monkey. It was just annoying the whole time.
Dude Monkey, I was just
hated him.
The shows were hard for me to watch.
The first episode's a guy dressed up as a monkey with a robotic tail that's an influencer that's trying to he's trying to out-influencer Megamind by basically just trying to get views to diminish Megamind's being a hero-ness. That's all his goal is he goes up to Megamind and he'll save someone, and then he'll make fun of Megamind, and he calls him Chugi at one point, and I thought that was just kind of forced in there. He's just, I don't know, it wasn't great.
That was horrendous.
Then honestly, there's not much else to talk about. I think the funny moments for the Go Fish Gang are in that episode, and that's the only highlight. Mr. Donut had his own episode where he gets actually decent.
He's gonna turn into a villain, or that he has the makings of what could potentially be a villain.
Megamind saves him from a vat of. So Megamind gets given a donut that he's told not to eat in the back of the donut shop, and he decides to then try to take a bite. Roxanne grabs it. A little gooey goes onto the ground, and then Mr. Donut falls into a vat of icing, and then Megamind saves him, and so then, the rest of the thing is him thinking that he's going to turn into a villain because he fell into a vat of icing.
And even, I think even Keiko and Minion were both well, it's a very popular trope for, villains to be created by falling into a vat of something, or falling into something, and it's done by the heroes, and no, that one was actually, of all the episodes, I would say of the ones,
surprisingly.
I would say that one was probably my favorite episode, but most of the others were just, I felt like they were just typical.
Better than the movie. I can say that.
Yes,
I enjoyed every one of the episodes better than the movie, except for maybe Dude Monkey.
Oh,
that might be the only one that was
throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash.
Throw it in the trash. Yeah, the Mr. Donut one, it was funny because he falls or the doctor tries to get his heartbeat, so he puts the stethoscope on his heart, but it sticks to him. So then everyone from then on thinks he's a doctor. So they call him Dr. Donut or whatever. Megamind tries to fix the vat, so he lasers it. To heat it up, he gives Mr. Donut a laser cannon, and that gets stuck to his arm because everything is sticking to him because of the icing. And then he gets hit in the head, and he's got amnesia.
After he gets the thing on his arm, he tries going to the bank for something. I can't, like a loan or something like that.
Deposit his money from, I think, the shop.
Yep, and then he accidentally just starts firing off or whatever.
Yes.
And then it's everybody thinks that, oh my gosh,
he's a villain.
He's a villain now, and and it's funny that and then as the episode goes on, eventually he does temporarily, after losing his memory, become a villain because the Fish Gang influences him and is oh yeah, you need to help us take down Megamind.
Yes. This is an episode that has the good Fish Gang stuff.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
So Doom Monkey, less points. What was the last? There's one more thing I had to say about Mr. Donut's episode. Oh, then the side plot was Roxanne was investigating it and stuff, and she finds the note of Operation Payback Megamind.
Oh, yeah.
And then she finds the paper and finds the notebook it came from, scribbles on it, finds that Operation Payback Megamind, thinks it's a revenge plot, but it ends up being that he just wanted to pay him back for saving his life from drowning in the vat of icing.
Yep, payback.
And then Operation Payback Megamind. And then so on to the third episode. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's the Roach one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite episode. It was Megamind's apparently terrified of cockroaches. Kind of makes sense with him being terrified of spiders in the first one. So that he's like terrified of things. Though the reason that they give later in the episode for why he's terrified of roaches is terrifying. Is it's him as a kid. He used to make things out of garbage, and he apparently made a ham sandwich pillow. He slept on it, and then the roaches covered his face in the middle of the night and ate it, which is terrifying. So it makes sense why he has this like vivid fear of roaches. But the whole episode's Keiko's dirty, and she but she's there in the hideout a lot.
And keeps leaving messes all over the place.
And Minion's not too happy about that. The garbage ends up attracting cockroaches, which then Megamind's terrified of. So Keiko and Chum, Minion, go kill him. So they try to get the raid to kill him with. And instead they get a intelligence spray the cockroach. It becomes like an evil Russian woman. It's like the whole time is just I don't know, it's interesting. It's just a villain that she's trying to then make the rest of the cockroaches smart. So she's trying to get the whole thing to take over the world is the end plan. She wants to release them all out there and take over everything. Yeah, she has the intelligence spray that she wants to get, so she's chasing them down the whole time. They solve their differences of the messiness and the cleanliness by the end of it. There's a lot of just I thought funny moments of her just freaking out Megamind with his fear, because she sneaks under his door that is supposed to be impervious to anything reaching in, but she just crawls right under it and then gets on the control panel for the base and just starts messing with them and threatening to touch him if they don't give him the intelligence spray. And Minion just, as soon as Megamind says to do anything, he immediately gives up, and then Megamind immediately gives up, and so Minion then listens to the giving up of the spray and tries to give it to the cockroaches and stuff. And it was a decent episode. I thought it was the better of everything that happened, considering most of it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, do you guys want to add anything about Megamind Roach episode?
Honestly, no.
No, fair enough. Did you enjoy it, or did you not like that one?
No, I didn't necessarily like it. I thought it was okay, but then again, I would say that for most of them, it was just
okay.
It was okay.
The problem mine is I can't remember a lot of these because they were just.
Well, no, they would, especially having to going in through and binging all of them. It just
none of them were great. I'll say that right off the bat. Those two episodes that we talked about just now were the highlight for me, where everything else was kind of worse. Which is the next one was the mayor one, where Roxanne and Megamind have a body swap basically thing. It's the disguise thing from the first movie, but it's now all of a sudden time limit based, where it's a whole day of them being disguised as each other. It's okay. The hijinks ensues of them being disguised as each other. They had to learn that their lives aren't as easy as they think. Yeah. Also, one major issue I have throughout this, and I started to really notice in this episode, is the romance that happened by the end of Megamind is completely ignored in the Doom Syndicate onward, where they're just oh yeah, Roxanne and Megamind.
They're just there.
It's complicated.
It's complicated. We're just friends.
It's complicated.
And it's they were very clearly romantic in the first one. They didn't officially become a couple, but you could tell it was going to be that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they just completely ignore that. They're just we're just complicated friends. That's all. But that one was fine. The next one after that was the making a robot one, where Keiko makes a robot out of scraps in the base. I don't know what you want to call it. The lair. But she makes a robot out of the scraps there for school. The teacher ends up being old friends with the mayor, Roxanne, and they hit it off, and Megamind gets jealous. Yeah. So he hijacks the robot, and it becomes his best friend. But then in the process of that,
he has to give it back up to Keiko after she.
Well, he has to give it up to Keiko, but also he no longer really cares about being friends with the robot. So the robot goes on a tirade around town, and then he has to remake up with friends with it so that Keiko can take it to get it graded. And apparently everyone's made robots, the exact same robot for this class. So he gives her a C+ or something like that.
B-.
B-, yeah.
B+, whatever it was.
It was something. It wasn't an A, even though it was a robot that could speak English and had a personality. But then that robot becomes friends with another robot some other classmate made. Again, just an okay episode. Then the next one was the one where Chum
Duplicates
himself.
And then that person, or that chum, duplicates themselves.
Yep.
So yeah, Chum has to run errands because Megamind's been chasing the Doom Syndicate around, and he's really tired. So Chum has to take care of him, but also Chum has to go get tickets for a metal concert. So he decides to. Apparently, there's a duplication chamber
chilling over there
in the lab.
Yeah.
Surprised that didn't get sold off.
It sold
Well,
everything
no, because at the end of the button, at least
they're
they
like
addressed that they were all getting the stuff.
They were
back.
getting all this. Yes,
So I won't call that a plot hole, but yeah. So he duplicates himself, and apparently he has to select the attributes that they get. So he can't increase intelligence without like decreasing strength or something like that. So he makes one that's dumber but more dedicated for the first one, and that one creates like 5 more that are all like, I think he takes intelligence like every time. Like he always takes the hit in intelligence to boost another attribute, and I don't know why you wouldn't make one that's just really smart in one other thing and then reduce everything else if you really can't, or just make it just another Chum that's just exactly the same.
You need a plot.
Well,
You need a plot, yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
But it ultimately leads to Megamind thinks it's a dream because why is there so many Chums?
Right.
Because he's like hallucinating with how tired he is. Goes to fight one of the Doom Syndicate members, and then Chum attributes it into strength and makes a giant Chum that goes to fight Behemoth.
my brain cannot like.
It's
so much.
There's a lot going on in these episodes.
Too much sometimes.
Yes, no, definitely. And then Chum defeats Behemoth, and then apparently Chum falls for instructional songs. So any of the songs like the Macarena where you have to follow the instruction to like be able to do it, like, you know, or slide to the left, slide to the right, that type of song. So they play a song, and Megamind does instructional lyrics to walk into the ocean and never come back.
Oh, jeez.
That's like literally that's literally what he does. Is he wishes he tells the 2 Chums to go into the ocean and never return. So they just walk out to nothing, and then never gets addressed again.
It will in the second season.
Maybe we'll see, because we might watch that. But
honestly, I really don't want to. I'm sorry.
No, fair enough. I actually.
You can watch it on your own.
No, I'm not watching it on my own, but I will watch bad stuff too. I like watching bad stuff and hearing people, I like hearing people talk about bad things, so I'm willing to do that for other people. For all watching the bad.
Sacrifices.
Yeah, sacrifices need to be made so that we can all know not to watch this. So you can know not to watch this, audience.
Sacrifices for the bad movies and TV shows, God.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'll watch something that I know is probably going to be bad just to have an opinion on it. Let's just go through the last 2 episodes.
Power through these.
Cake for Keiko was the other one just before the last episode, where it's Keiko's birthday, and Megamind wants to bake her a cake, and then she gets kind of told to go away, and she thinks it's because she's like not a part of the team. So she goes to the Doom Syndicate because she wants to gather information. She steals the disguise watch, disguised as Nighty Night. She tries to glean information from them. Well, Megamind sucks at making cake. That's like literally the whole episode, until Machiavellian tells Keiko, you need to steal the binky from the first movie, the little power binky that he was using. She goes and does that, realizes it's a power source, has the mayor of all people, who's apparently works next to the Doom Syndicate, duplicate it because apparently he can do that.
Ex-mayor.
Yeah, but the ex-mayor of the city apparently has the know-how to exactly replicate this binky that he just handed her. He says it'll take me 15 minutes.
Well, he said initially it was going to
take him an hour. And then she's like, I don't have that much time. How much time do you think you could do it if you rushed? He said, I can do it in 15 minutes.
I can do it. It'll be
the quickest.
It'll be the 15 fastest minutes of your life.
Yeah, that's what he says. It's the stupidest thing. He does that successfully, like spot on. He adds a little lightning bolt on the bottom so she can tell the difference between the two.
A red lightning bolt instead of a blue one.
Yeah, so then she goes over, hands them the fake one to Machiavellian. Then he's going on this whole thing about what his secret plan is now, and goes behind her, swaps out the 2, and plugs it into the real one into his machine to get his body back that Megamind destroyed. I was like kind of looking forward this whole time to seeing this villain. Like the one part I thought might have been like interesting. Like I've watched shows before where it doesn't get good to like the last 2 episodes when they found it, like found the secret sauce. He comes out of the machine. And I thought he was gonna be like this old man, like with a beard, and I thought he was gonna be like, or like just somewhat cool.
No, it's David Bowie.
It's like David Bowie with really long hair.
Jeez.
It's David Bowie.
It's very styled after like a rock star, but like not in a good way. Like a generic David Bowie with really long hair and also looks like an elf.
Yeah.
And for video listeners, here's a picture of this guy.
Video
watchers.
Video listeners, I like that.
Video listeners, audio watchers, Brendan.
Whatever. My bad. From now on, I'll.
So yeah, it was just a terrible reveal, in my opinion. I was looking forward to it, with what little hope I had for this show to get better. And I was disappointed. And then the last episode is just that guy comes back, sets up Megamind to make a fool of himself, where he records him destroying things that cause disruption in the city, but Megamind destroyed those things to save the city, at least he thought. And so he frames him into being a villain, and then he saves the day.
No.
But like the big thing that happens at the end is
Megamind.
He has
public enemy number 1.
Well, he has Megamind shoot a meteor towards Earth, like deflect a meteor.
Yeah.
And so then he uses the Binky. Machiavellian uses the Binky to fly up to the meteor and like punch it. No, he takes Megamind's statue and throws it at the meteor and explodes them. And also none of this debris. There's so much debris. None of it hits anyone.
Yep.
And it's just like little tiny pebbles instead of giant boulders. But yeah, he saves the city from himself, basically. And then Megamind's the villain. Roxanne is also like, there's too much evidence to say that Megamind is definitely a villain now, again. And so she gives up on him. Everyone gives up on him. The guy that has villain in his name is a hero.
Hero, yeah.
Yeah. Machia villain is now Metro City's main villain, or main hero. It was just...
a terrible ending.
And then also, too, doesn't Megamind, isn't he like, oh, we need to go find Metro Man now?
Yes. For some reason, he's like, oh, yeah, now that I've been framed, I need to go find Metro Man to get me out of this jam. But, like, I don't know what's that really going to do for you.
Nothing. Anything last
time he tried to use Metro Man to bail you out, he just told you, I'm Music Man, and then proceeded to make our ears bleed.
Yes, the way higher stakes of what Titan was in the first movie, and Metro Man still wouldn't come out of retirement?
Right. Yeah.
You really think that this Machiavellian guy, which I'm sure Metro Man will come out of retirement for this, so that they can have season 2 be Return of Metro Man.
Right.
But, like... I don't know. I was so disappointed with that. There was, again, 2 highlight episodes for me. I at least, like, had some enjoyment with that. And then I'm going to tie it with the movie for 3 out of... 3. Maybe I'll reduce the movie to 2 out of 10. 3 out of 10. 2 out of 10. But they're both not good.
No. Terrible.
Yeah.
Megamind itself would probably be, like, a 7.5.
I give Megamind I would say a 8 out of 10.
I could go up to an 8, but I feel like there's a lot of things that I've watched that are like better. But like there's nothing wrong with it with Megamind. It has also a lot of good parts. It's that ended that one camera. We have no wide shot. Oh no.
Bye wide shot.
Bye wide shot.
No, yeah, it's up there. It's a good movie.
Yes, the original. Oh, where are you going?
I'm just gonna see what's wrong with that camera real quick.
Wide camera back up and running.
Double wide
fixed it.
Well, hopefully.
So yeah, that was the Megamind series then. I don't want to ever do Megamind for a while.
At some point, maybe we'll return for season 2 in a later episode. Not the next episode. No. A later episode. It was rough.
That hurt my brain.
You know which one I want to do? And I don't know if we've talked about what we're going to do in the next one, but I would like to do like a Five Nights at Freddy's. I know we just did horror, so maybe we shouldn't.
I feel like we should do a game, too, or something like that sometime, where we all play a game and then review it. Like I mentioned last time, give us suggestions if you want.
We definitely have one. We'll
definitely have more, but...
kind of destroyed our mind this time.
Yeah, we'll hopefully watch something good next time.
Yeah, we'll put something on the docket. We'll brainstorm. We just didn't have anything planned for today of what we're gonna tell them.
For next time?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll figure it out. We always
2
do.
weeks. So
We had 2 weeks. I'm tired. I went on the final explanation of those. Oh, we lost the Zach cam. I think we're losing the cameras. One at a time. All right, we're gonna have to call it.
just to say bye-bye.
We're gonna have to call it because all the equipment's dying now.
All right, I'll close out then. Again, thank you. I can't even have a camera, so I don't know why I'm closing. I'm closing the mine one. Wait, where are you going? I'll just jump in your camera.
Okay.
Well,
Technical failures. So I'll wave in this one.
That's why we need the new setup. We need the new setup so that we don't have
so that way
these
they're
issues.
permanently fixed into the wall.
Yes.
No.
And you can never take them out.
And I'm never gonna be able to take my cameras back.
Thank you. Can't even end. Thank you, everyone, for listening, video listeners, audio watchers. We're going to keep that. That's going to be in there somewhere.
Video watchers.
Video listeners.
Video listeners,
Yes.
audio watchers.
We appreciate your support. We can't thank you enough. I know we say it like every single episode or every time you come in and blah, blah, blah. We appreciate you. Have a nice one. We'll catch you on the flip side.